Day 2 of NFL free agency is here, and coming up next, we're going to take a look at some players I'd like to see the Bears poke around on today, as the price tag should come down for certain guys. But, guys, we are almost at 160,000 subscribers. We're 170 away. I would love to get there today. We'll be live again here on the channel, probably between 11 and 11:30 a.m. Central Time, as we're filming this about an hour before that. So subscribe, join us then, and enjoy the rest of the video. I'm Harrison Graham. Let's get to day 2 of NFL free agency, as I'm going to dive into some players I'd like to see Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson take a look at here today. Let's just kind of recap what the Bears have done up to this point. And, we kind of have our tracker started with the Garrett Bradbury trade to help plug that hole at center after Drew Dahlman retired, sending a 2027 fifth to the Patriots. DeMarco Jackson, Daniel Hardy, a couple of role players back. I think there's a chance DeMarco Jackson starts at linebacker on this team, so stay tuned for that. Neville Gallimore, rotation defensive tackle, on board as well, 2 years, $12 million. Kobe Bryant, the big splash, 3 years, $40 million, 25 and change guaranteed. They doubled down with Devin Bush as well, 3 years, $30 million with 21 guaranteed. He's been one of the better linebackers in the league the last year and a half or so, so excited about him. Case Keenum's back in the fold on a 2 year, $5.5 million deal, and then Braxton Jones, 1 year, up to $10 million, but $5 million of that is in incentives. We don't know the cap hit on that one or the Devin Bush one as of yet. So if we get that information, we will pass that along as well. Okay, so what could they do today? I'm keeping an eye on these 4 edge rushers. Bradley Chubb, Joey Bosa, Cam Jordan, and Jadeveon Clowney. Just go through each of these guys. Chubb was obviously cut by Miami about a month ago now. Unclear what his market is. It was pretty quiet for him yesterday. He was someone who could have signed before free agency, as he was a cut, but he is not as of yet. Maybe if money dries up, he has to sign like a 1 year prove-it deal. I'd be on board with that. It's kind of where I'm at with these edges. Like, give me a guy for 1 year that could come in and help this pass rush. Joey Bosa, Jadeveon Clowney fall into a similar realm. Both solid players, but both guys are players you shouldn't have to break the bank for. And then Cam Jordan, could you get him for like 1 year, $6-7 million, maybe $8 million? Dennis Allen connection there. I think that's certainly possible. He seems willing to leave New Orleans, and as of now, he is not signed with the team. So we'll see where that ends up going. I know everyone wants to know about Trey Hendrickson, so a couple of notes on the latest there. Jonathan Jones, CBS Sports, says today that teams that weren't in on Trey Hendrickson may get in on him as time goes on, and his price aligns more with where the market views him. Adam Schefter on Get Up this morning added, basically had a full minute spiel after Mike Greenberg asked him a question. Basically said Trey Hendrickson's very prideful. He saw Danielle Hunter get a 1 year, $40 million extension. He saw Jalen Phillips get a 4 year, $120 million contract of $30 million per year, and basically said he's not willing to budge on his price right now. He feels like he should be in that range between those two guys, but Schefter also added that no one's met his price. So, as this thing plays out, does his price go down? I think the answer is yes. I don't think the price goes down far enough to where the Bears would jump in, because even if it gets into the mid-late 20s, I don't think the Bears are going to be, singing that music. If it got to 1 for 18, like the Khalil Mack deal or something like that, I think that could be possible, but I don't think the Bears are going to do 3 for 78 or something like that for Trey Hendrickson. There's just been no indication that they will sign him, but I do think he's a name to monitor just for all of free agency as teams start to run out of money. What does he end up doing? Does he have to sign a 1 year deal somewhere? We'll see what happens there. I think it's pretty interesting that 4 of the most notable Bears free agents remain unsigned. Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker, the 2 starting safeties, are still out there. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the versatile DB, is still unsigned, and so is cornerback Nahshon Wright, and a lot of corners got paid a lot of money yesterday. So, did he miss out, or is he still going to get paid by a team? We saw Greg Newsome get 1 year up to $10 million this morning. Does Nahshon Wright fall more into that bucket? Do teams look at him as kind of a 1 year wonder and still a guy that gives up a lot of catches? I'm not sure. I'm still keeping an eye on the safety position. If money dries up enough, could you convince Kevin Byard to come back? I said this on live yesterday. Could he have overplayed his hand? I was told leading up to free agency the reason he and the Bears had not come up come to terms yet, is he felt like he could get a big deal, bigger than what the Bears were willing to pay at that point. So I think they're like, okay, we'll let you hit the market and we'll explore other options and we'll see what's what. And the Bears went on and signed a younger ascending Kobe Bryant. Well, what if Kevin Byard, another day or two goes by and it's like, well, you just don't have options. Could you get him back for like a 1-year, $7 million contract? Maybe. Is Jaquan Brisker's market not very strong? I don't think the Bears are that interested in bringing him back, but if it's cheap enough, they might be willing to consider it. Safety is always a position that, the top guys get good money, but when that money starts to run out, guys get squeezed out. So maybe the Bears get one of those guys back. Maybe they sign CJ Gardner-Johnson for cheap if a few more days go by. I don't think they'll bring back Nahshon Wright, but I do think they want to add a corner. So, I wouldn't completely rule that out either. If you had to pick one that you could re-sign, who would it be? Type KB for Kevin Byard, JB for Jaquan Brisker, CJGJ for CJ Gardner-Johnson, or NW for Nahshon Wright. Some other defensive backs just to keep an eye on. Nick Cross and Jaylinn Hawkins are a couple of safeties that I think could be potential Bears targets if the money makes sense. Riq Woolen, probably going to be too expensive, but I am curious to see where he ends up. Marshon Lattimore, Dennis Allen guy, tore his ACL late in the season last year. Could you get him for just dirt cheap and just see if there's anything left, like $4 or $5 million bucks? And, maybe he competes with Tyreek Stevenson for that CB2 role or something like that. Rasul Douglas, I thought played pretty well for Miami last year. A little bit older. He'll be 31, I think, but on a 1-year deal. Could make some sense. Shoot your shot with PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. March is here. You know what that means. The hoops action is hotter than ever. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player lineups, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, three-pointers, fantasy score, and if you hit, you win money. Other sports available as well, including season-long football projections. Tons of stats out there available for the 2026 season. Myles Garrett, fun fact, 14 or more sacks in 5 straight years. Yeah, I'll take the more than 13.75 sacks. Caleb Williams, I'll take more on his passing yards if he's healthy. He should shatter that. And then Colston Loveland, I think he could have double-digit touchdowns, so give me more than 6.5 there. $20 lineup to get $100 if this 3-player lineup hits. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. Okay, defensive tackles now. DJ Reader, obviously, Ben was up there in Detroit, a couple of the assistant coaches as well, obviously offensive guys, but they're familiar with him. Decent run stopper, wouldn't mind bringing him in here if it's a cheap deal. Logan Hall was a name that was generating some buzz leading up to free agency. Haven't heard much since free agency opened, so we'll see if he's an option. Calais Campbell, 40 years old, but he's still good. Still a good player. I wonder if he'd be on the Bears' radar. Kind of a D-tack edge flex there. Sebastian Joseph-Day, Shelby Harris, 2 decent D-tacks as well. They've been around for a bit, so a couple more options there. How about receiver? I mean, you traded DJ Moore, you lost Olamide Zaccheaus to Atlanta. The Bears, obviously, their top 2 guys are set, Rome Odunze and Luther Burden, but then it's Jade Walker and, futures guys, J.P. Richardson and Maurice Alexander. So they're going to have to add somebody at some point. I wonder if a guy like Darnell Mooney would come back to Chicago. Marquise Brown, Calvin Austin, Tutu Atwell, Kalif Raymond. What do all these guys have in common? Speed. Now, certainly, Darnell Mooney's the most complete receiver out of this group. He can run a lot of the route tree, play slot and outside. You get down to like Tutu, Kalif Raymond. They're more gadget guys, but these are all guys that bring a speed element to this offense if the Bears were to bring them on board. Okay, some running backs. Obviously, you've got DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, but Roschon Johnson's future is muddy at best. Britton Brown's on a futures deal. Travis Homer, we'll see if he comes back, but he's really just a special teamer. I've always liked Sean Tucker. He's kind of been buried in Tampa. I wonder if that's a guy they would look at. Rachaad White, another Bucs free agent. Keaton Mitchell is electric in space. He's had some injuries. He's had some drop issues too, but he is a big-time speed demon. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry on like 60 or 70 carries last year, so not like a huge sample size, but not like 10 carries either. So he's interesting. Isiah Pacheco, more of a thumper, and then Jeremy McNichols, who can do a little bit of everything as well. How about this as a sneaky free agent target? Johnny Munt, who was with Minnesota and then signed with Jacksonville. They ended up cutting him yesterday or a couple of days ago. Excellent blocking tight end. And Durham Smythe is still a free agent, and Durham Smythe did solid last year, but Johnny Munt can really block. So as a tight end 3, vet minimum type of deal, maybe a tick more to come in here and be a blocker. You can line him up at fullback some. We know Ben Johnson likes guys who can do that. We know he's going to run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. Ideally you don't enter the draft having to draft a tight end. I mean, they're going to need to bring someone in at some point unless they think Steven Carlson can fill that role, which I think that's a stretch at this point. Okay, name a player you would like to see the Bears sign today as we get going for day 2 of NFL free agency. Remember, we'll be live on the channel 11:30 a.m. Central Time, so stay tuned for that. Go check out our merch as well, chatsports.com/Bears shop. The Beers hat and shirt combo, still $10 off. You add both of these to your shopping cart. It's going to automatically give you the discount when you check out, chatsports.com/Bears shop. You can get the St. Patrick's Day gear as well. And if you use our express shipping, which I'll show you how to do that in a second, you can get this stuff by St. Patrick's Day. We got the T-shirts in green, navy, and black. Also the hoodies in black and navy as well. And again, do the toggle down when you go to shipping method, select express shipping. You will get it in time for St. Patrick's Day. And by the way, we're giving you a discount in the express. Usually it's $10. Right now it's $5. It's only 25 cents more than the normal shipping cost. So take advantage. Look at the hoodie. I mean, it just looks fantastic. We have it in navy as well. It's kind of a zoom-in look at the logo, the design. Pretty sweet stuff. Look at QB1 turning the river green. No one does St. Patty's better than Chicago. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. We'll see you guys live here in a little bit.